Retailers aren't the only businesses suffering, and Denny's in Oakland is shutting its doors for good after 54 years due to soaring crime. So there goes your grand slam. And Walgreens is closing down multiple locations across Boston. Well, that struck a nerve with Squad Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, who seems to blame racial discrimination.
These closures are not arbitrary and they are not innocent. They are life-threatening acts of racial and economic discrimination. Shame on you, Walgreens. Walgreens is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that needs to put their money where their mouth is and stop divesting from Black and brown communities.
They are making this week feel very long, Greg.
Yes.
They make this week feel long.
It's almost Thursday. It is Thursday.
It is Thursday. Governor Newsom, oblivious?
I think he's amazing. I think we found 3 words to best describe him. Where's the manager? America needed a name for a male Karen, and it's Gavin. Gavin is such a great name for a male Karen. I feel bad for all the Gavins out there watching. There's probably like 300 or 400. But he did it. I didn't, because he combines in that moment the sense of entitlement and the desire to complain. Right? That's the definition of what this person is. I'm surprised he didn't pull out his phone and start filming the poor clerk who's essentially given up. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. She's just given up because she's not allowed to do anything because then the insurance companies will come down. But in that moment, you saw an example of how liberal leaders are wholly divorced from the consequences of their politics. They're upstream from the damages they cause. No one's stealing escargots from the French Laundry. They're at Target stealing, razors and toothpaste. All the rest of us now have, when we walk into CVS, it's like we're inside a giant vending machine. Everything is locked up. But that's all because he lives upstream from the results of his policies. It's amazing that he's shocked about the most publicized problem in his state, mass theft. And it's something he's in charge of. This is like a guy slicing onions and can't figure out why he's crying. Or a president who's wondering how did this migrant crisis happen when he doesn't have a border? So and the fact that he's actually claiming, hey, but we're the 10th best on crime. How does that help this person at her job? It was great. Thank you.
Thank you, Gavin.
Gavin.
There is a move to repeal Prop 47. This is a Kamala Harris when she was AG. That was sort of the era when the soft on crime bill came through. Now there's an effort to repeal it. 89% of voters support changing Prop 47, and the governor doesn't seem to be aware.
Well, I was in Target the other day, and everything had been cleared off of the shelves by shoplifters except just stacks of that sweater Greg's wearing.
Nice.
It's like the one thing they didn't steal.
Very good.
I love Newsom, and Gavin is a great name for a male Karen. He basically was like, don't you know who I am? And it was more of a blow to his ego that he wasn't recognized than the larceny that's taking place throughout his state. They are writing laws in California that make crime pay, and he's totally unaware of it. I have a suggestion for Gavin. Remember the show Undercover Boss?
Yeah.
Where bosses would dress as like the regular people on shift, and then they'd figure out what everybody thought of them? He should do that. Throw on one of those little glasses with the nose and the mustache, or even blonde wig, dress, whatever it takes. Go to the homeless shelters, go to the hood, go to the restaurants, and find out the truth, because that's the only way he's going to find out. Now, Ayanna Pressley, she represents Roxbury, that area in Massachusetts. They're closing down a lot of Walgreens, predominantly black area, and a lot of the people that work at the Walgreens, predominantly black, and they're getting ransacked, and they're assaulting employees, and they can't make money there. So she's saying it's racist to avoid crime. If you leave a criminal-infested area, that's racist. You're supposed to stay in the crime-ridden neighborhood and let your employees and your customers get assaulted and lose money, because that's how you fight racism, being the victim of crime. That would be like Gutfeld knocking off the McDonald's day after day after day. McDonald's then closes, I can't get a double Big Mac, and I don't blame Greg, I blame the McDonald's? No. It's the Hamburglar right there. That's who's guilty.
In his outfit. Judge, the other thing is that companies, these especially retail companies and Starbucks, et cetera, have told their employees, you can't stop people from stealing. You can't get in the way. You have to just basically sit back and let them. And if they have gotten involved, then they get fired.
They get fired, yeah. And it shows Gavin Newsom's how egotistical he is and how unconnected he is to workers. I mean, it's not just the Karen part of it. It's, you know, where call your manager. When he says, I'm not taking a photo, you know, he's angry because she recognizes that the governor has a role as it relates to crime and he's not doing enough. I spoke to Eric Seidel, who is one of the people who's running for DA against Gascon. Mm-hmm. And he said to me, you know, it's Proposition 47 is bad enough. And by the way, Gavin Newsom was lieutenant governor in 2014 when that law was passed. He didn't complain about it then. But the problem with Proposition 47 is that repeat offenders get to do it over and over and over again. And no one has addressed the fact that you get a freebie 950, 950, 950, 950. That's where the problem is. It's in the policy and the enforcement. But I do want to say that not only does Target say you can't arrest them in our store, we did that a couple months ago, and they say you can't confront them either. And one of the employees said, you know, all we do is we simply document how much they stole. But I want to say something about Ayanna Pressley. I feel for what she's saying, because the minority community is losing the ability to have a lifeline of medications from drugstores that they desperately need. Yep. And here's where the problem is. She doesn't understand what the root cause is. The root cause is crime. And she's got to, instead of going after corporate Walgreens, she's got to say we've got to fight crime, stop the crime so that employees can go in and the minority community can get the medicine they want. She feels that Walgreens somehow is like a state-sponsored corporation and that the Walgreens should be charged or somehow responsible. No, this is capitalism. Go after the real problem.
Richard, it's good to have you back here. Let me just give you the floor. You can comment on anything you want.
There's a lot to comment on. No, I actually agree with the judge. I think what the congressman was trying to say is in communities of color where you see health disparities very high, and many of these communities are also health deserts, right? The ideal of being able to get your prescription drugs for senior citizens a block away is really important. And listen, I think we do have to figure out how we work on addressing some of these crimes and how we work on making sure that these pharmacies have the other things that they need, like lotions and soaps that are being stolen. But I also think it's important to applaud where we've been. At the beginning of the pandemic, we saw a skyrocket in crime. All across the country, what we're seeing now, according to the FBI, is a decrease in crime, right? Violent crime has decreased 8% nationwide. Property crime has decreased 6.3%. In Chicago, fatal shootings have decreased 16%. Homicides have decreased 13%.
It ran out of victims. In
St. Louis and Baltimore, we've seen fewer murders. We've seen the fewest murders in the past decade. Detroit has had the least amount of murders since 1966. These are good things, and we should applaud that. And now it's on what can we do to make sure that people aren't stealing from the Walgreens and stealing from the CVS. But it's important to applaud the policies that are working to decrease many of these crimes that are already happening. And in Chicago, what you're seeing is there's peace agreements between gangs. You're seeing access to more resources in communities of color where we're seeing high levels of crime to decrease folks getting into crime to begin with. And all of those things are steps in the right direction.
What are the policies that are working? Are you talking about more policing?
No, well, in some places, what you're seeing in Chicago, they're opening 24-hour rec centers, so young people have someplace to go instead of going to violent crime. You're also seeing them creating more resources in schools, right? So you can talk to a guidance counselor, you could talk to a social worker about what's happening in your home instead of having to resort to a gang or to get help for your community.
But on this particular issue, do you blame Walgreens for making the decision that they're making?
Look, I've said all along on this particular issue, I think we have to, even when you think about cashless bail, which is one of the issues that get us to people committing the thefts that you see happening at this Walgreens, I think you have to make a distinction between crimes of desperation and people just doing stupid things. If a mom walks into a Walgreens and steals baby formula, the response is not to arrest her.
I don't think we're talking about Jean Valjean.
That is an argument that's so old.
Yeah.
No, but it's an argument that's still true. It could be old, but it doesn't take away
in these
the truth.
situations, it's not true.
I don't know a cop who would make an arrest in that case.
No, but there was a time
But
Judge Janine were getting arrested for stealing baby formula.
AOC was laughed at about 2 years ago for saying that.
Because somebody was stealing bread.
Yeah, that's stealing bread line.
Les Miserables.
Come on, Richard.
All right.
I'm telling the truth.
And I do just want to say that we all love Gavin Haddon. He's not a Karen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.